Okay, gang, I wanted to uh, just do a quick video on the software as it stands, because it's all pretty basic thus far. So I'm logged into HVAC 2.0, and by the way, you get here, so if you go to HVAC20.com, you scroll to the bottom, here's the top, here's the bottom, and see professionals, you click that. That will get you in here. So for starters, this is not going to stay the same, but this is the current add client button right here. And let's see if this will, no, for some reason it's been freaking out here recently. So we'll just put something in like that. And then you click update, and there it is. So that's you put the house in first, and we will be changing this. But the whole system is going to be predicated on the address, not the people, because the people will change in time, but hopefully you'll still be working on the house. So then you can put in somebody here, occupants. Things like that. Submit. And boom, it'll show there. If you want to put in John's wife, you can do that. So this you'll probably use later, because you'll input someone, but then when you're there on the consults, you may want to add their significant other. But this way, if you go back and look at this, you can see that it's John and Jane, because I routinely forget what people's names are. So that helps. 4 questions is not built yet. This just turned over to Eric earlier today. But if you see up here, there's home client and CPP. CPP is grayed out because that is not built yet. And that won't be part of the first version. What we want to have is all the data entry and then the comfort consult information as well. So I'm going to click client, go back, and actually I'm just going to mark this as a cold lead because it's BS. So I'll click cold and then update, not update. And if you want to see the ones that you marked that way, you can say show all clients. And I haven't really tried sorting these. Okay, so they do sort. So this is the beginning of it. But let's go back to active clients, and we'll click on our house. So the initial consult and the consult analysis, these both work. So the initial consult, you can click on here, and when you do one of these, it'll all suck in. So all this is going to look familiar. You can use this to do your consult. That's what I've ended up doing. Or you can download the file that's all of these things and present it on a laptop or an iPad, something like that, whatever works. But you go through there. And I haven't filled anything out in this particular one. So it'd be like 10 months and so forth, and you fill all this stuff out. But there's a couple things that need to be in here. So 1,400 square foot is what this little place is. And so there's a bunch of different things that are in this form. So you might want to play with it some. You definitely want to run through this first. By the way, see all these informations here? If you are used to using this and you don't need the hints anymore, see this button here, you click hide hints, and all of that stuff, well, should go away, I guess. Didn't, but there's a number of hints that will disappear when you click that. That feature has been a little bit iffy at the moment. But anyway, when you go through all of this, let's get down to the HVAC section. So look for this picture. That's the HVAC. and you want to take pictures of various things. It tells you what to take pictures of. We're not making this required shortly, but you'll want to put everything in. So like here's your heating input and output. Here's Housh's static pressure. You won't necessarily do that while they're there. You might do that at the very tail end. We'll see how all that works, but it's in here. And then for the blower door test, so here's the blower door reading that you'll be putting in. Not matters, but 50 pascals. And then I threw in a couple zonals for that. These will get, the sections will get played with a little bit yet. We're trying to think forward to big data, what we might get. But it's easy to add another room, if you want to say coat closet, 0.2, something like that. You can do that. And that will go in there. But then you'll get into the goals, and here's just a couple of example ones. So you rate them on a scale of 1 to 10, actually technically 0 to 10, and go from there. So you need all this stuff to populate the report. And then the budget will go in here, so we threw in 75 a month. That's going to be on the low side. Anyway, once you get all that done, you click Submit. And if you're running this out in the field, not connected to the internet, I highly recommend that before you hit Submit, you do a print. So let's go back to that. So hit Control P, whatever it looks like on your computer, and then go to Save as PDF, and then save that out. So just in case you lose stuff, because I haven't had any issues with the software, no one else has yet either, but I have had my browser crash and I lost it. Thankfully I had done this, but I definitely lost it. Okay, so that's that. Let's go back to the clients. And then consult analysis. This is going to be very important. So when you get back to the office, you're going to put this stuff in. So now you need to do load calcs. So you start with where the house is now. So here's the blower door where it is now. Here is the load calc that you come up with where the house is now. And then what the cooling load is. So I just threw some numbers in here, although that's fairly close for our house as we got it. And then proposed, what might we get to? So that's about a 50% reduction. And this house has come largely to be like, it's a 1.5 tons to 2 tons, so we'll just call it 20,000. And then to size it correctly, this is actually going to be more like 9,000 if this had a 60,000 BTU. And you'll have to back into this with load calc. And this might be, say, 6,000, something like that. So if you want to put anything in observations, that actually shouldn't say leakage observations, that should just say observations. Put that in there. Don't mind hearing my daughter and her friend here. And then you're going to enter in odds of success. So what do you think that HVAC only is going to do? Like if the house tested tight, put that, HVAC only is fairly likely to solve the problem unless you think that there's HVAC issues, or say it's underducted going to a finished room over a garage, a frog, something like that. Do you think it's mainly an air sealing issue, or do you think that it's both? So you can change these to whatever you want. And then you can put in a monthly budget and what you think the odds are of that solving the problem. So that's what you're putting in there. Observations, you are not going to put any recommendations here. This is just stuff that you noticed, and it may be stuff that you don't want to fix. If you notice that the house is graded poorly and there's a place where the water can run into the foundation, you want to make a note of that. So we made a list here of all the various things, And you'll note this as well. So there's going to be something that goes on the report. There will be another section that goes into an appendix. The appendix is not yet built, but it will be like at the bottom, just text only, kind of an information puke, so that if you go to look at this house in a year or two, you will have some idea of what was going on and get back up to speed. All right. Then consult recommendations. So these are the levels 1 through 4 that we have talked about somewhat. So level 1 is inexpensive stuff to try. And we pre-populated these. If you don't like any of these, like say you don't think that you should run the bath fan all the time, you can just delete it. Let's go to one. So filter fan. Say you think that's silly, just delete it and it's gone. Or you can add something back in. If you think one thing is more important than another, you can move it up and down. So say you want to recommend having them put the air handler to on, not auto. You can move that. You have to follow it up then. But you can move that all the way up to the top. So that can be helpful. Level 2, this is in the middle kind of recommendations. We're going to change this to $200 to $1,500. But this is stuff to try that they can do as well. And the goal of levels 1 and 2 is basically to have your clients try a bunch of stuff where they don't bother you. And maybe it fixes stuff, but if it doesn't fix stuff, then they are ready for level 3, which is contractor stuff. And this is where your recommendations will be. I surely typed that in wrong when it got imported into here. Anyway, these are going to be places where you're going to give a range. So HVAC replacement, say you're going to suggest changing their air conditioner to a Bosch heat pump. So say that's $6,000. You're going to let them know what the range is, and then say they want a fully modulating system with zones and all kinds of other things, and it comes in $20,000. You put that. So that's going to be their range, and then you're going to attach your bid to this when you send it. Okay, so there's all these other things you can put in there, and then we're leaving a space here. So if you are using a proposal that is web-based, you can put the link there, and then it will be part of the customer record, so you can come back and find it later. And then level 4, we'll play with this a little bit, but this is for selling a CPP, and actually need to put pricing in for the CPP. That is not here yet. I guess I guess there actually is, so $100 to $3,000 to $3,000. So this will probably be a set price for you for whatever house you do. So you just put in something like that. Okay, I'm going to click submit, and then click clients again, and go back to my record. And then this is what's pretty cool that it works now. So the report, there is preview, and this is a web preview. So how this report gets built is it is wedged into HTML, and then the tool prints off of this and feeds it into a PDF. So this is not auto-populating yet, the Venn diagram. It will. Back, and we'll click PDF. I believe you can change all this text. Double check, but should be able to do all of that. And the goal here is basically one page. If somebody just wants to scan what's going on, they're going to have some idea. So this is the basics of what's going on. This is what they can do, next steps. And then the second half of this page is the table of contents for the report. And then you can see how all of the stuff populates. Mold in the attic, big problem. Fix it now. How leaky is the house? Oh, good. This wasn't working earlier today, so Eric already found this. So 2,300 blower door, 1,400 square foot house. That's a 1.64 to 1. We're going to put in here still where it is the 2,300 CFM50 to 1,400 square feet. So that will show in here. Shows which rooms leak the most. This is going to come down to only showing the two worst, and then it'll have number readings for the other rooms up to 10. You can see where the energy use is, and then if you entered in all of the information, it's going to, for the load calcs, you're going to get this chart working. We're going to drop it so that we don't have this circle piece. It's just going to be the spectrum. And so here's your standard sizers, 24,036, 48 is skipped, and then 60 and 80. This will scale according to whatever equipment you put in. So if you put in a 100,000 BTU furnace, this will become basically 100,000, and then it will show a little bit higher beyond that. So this needs a little bit more playing yet, but it's definitely getting there, and it functions. So that's the key piece. So go, Eric. Odds of success, this is where we're putting in, so we don't think this is an HVAC only job. In fact, we don't think there's anything we can do in this house, apparently. I didn't change the odds. Normally, you're going to put HVAC and air sealing up on the high side of things. And budget odds of success, we're going to shift this out to be the S-curve, but you get the basic idea, trying to show people that the better the budget they have, the more likely things are. And then you get into the observations and recommendations. So observations, again, these are just things that you noticed. And recommendations, you can try lots of different things. Oh, that's interesting. So something in there it did not like. But these are recommendations, so that's oh, that's because I deleted that one and I didn't enter anything in. So if you put a blank form in, this is what you're going to get. Level 2, a little bit more expensive, but not crazy expensive. And then level 3, contractor stuff. And level 4. This also needs a paragraph at the bottom for summing things up. But anyway, that is what you put in and what comes out the other side. So hopefully that's helpful. That's for May 1st, 2020. This is all going to be shifting around a little bit still. And any feedback that you have, please give it so we can get it all on a list and prioritize and figure out what we can do and what we can't. If it is easy and quick, we will do it. If it is complicated and difficult, it's going to get kicked down the road. But we want to get everything on the list. So thank you, everybody, for trying this out. Take it out in the field. This thing's ready to use. It's not perfect, but it's decent. And let us know what other stuff you want. Talk to you later.